My story, gosh, goes back to 2008. I just last weekend passed my 4-year cancer anniversary, as I call it. So I was diagnosed at age 30 with stage, well, we'll just call it stage 2, breast cancer in my right breast. And I was actually not living here when I was diagnosed. I was caring for my ailing grandparents in rural eastern Oklahoma, if you can believe that. So I didn't have the support of all my friends and family around me in the beginning when it happened, and gradually made my way back here. But I actually would say that my experience is probably somewhat like a lot of women's, but different in that I took a very holistic approach to treating the disease. And
talk about that.
Well, I had a sort of adverse reaction to all the things that the doctors were telling me to do.
Which were chemo, things like that.
Radiation, cutting into your body, to remove the tumor. And so like I said, I did a very holistic approach. I just sought after any information that could tell me this could be done otherwise. And so in the end, I actually had to do, as I say, I got the big guns out in the end because I was re-diagnosed about 1.5 years later after my initial diagnosis. But I sort of did what they call complementary medicine, and I paired my breast cancer treatment, sort of my holistic treatments, I guess you would say, with allopathic treatments. And so it was sort of complementary. And I'm proud to say that I never was sick during any of my treatments. I lost all my hair. I went through the chemo process. I went through 6 weeks of radiation. I've had a total of 5 surgeries on my right breast. I sort of blended a happy medium. And I am so grateful for the journey. I'm not the same person that I was a few years ago. It's been the greatest gift, if you can call it a gift. And I'm here to pay it forward and help other people through it.
And a lot of people would feel like they're given a death sentence when they hear this news, or they feel like they don't have another choice, like to even mix different types of treatment. When is it for you that you realized you had the power to really kind of take control of this, do it on your terms, so to speak?
I actually remember that moment very clearly because my thoughts were so different from all the information that I was receiving from doctors and otherwise, that I sort of did take it into my own hands. I started, because I was in a very rural area and sort of a conservative area all around in terms of thinking and otherwise, I started renting sort of alternative holistic cancer treatment videos that would be sent to the house so that I could watch them and learn more information. And I learned a lot about changing your diet. And part of that process for me was also changing your attitude, or my attitude. And so in December of 2008, I signed up for raw food school in Atlanta, Georgia, and I actually went to Atlanta for 12 very intense days, and I learned all about the body and raw foods, and it was actually a really interesting program because it wasn't just about food. It was about, like I said, changing your mind and connecting with other women who maybe had a similar disease or not. Some people were there just to get healthy. And so I adopted a vegan diet in 2008, and I feel that that's what's really kept me strong, even through the chemo treatments. Not throwing up. I juiced kale every day for 1.5 years. That was my breakfast of champions.
So I interviewed Chris Carr, the author of Crazy Sexy Cancer.
She's my inspiration, and
She
I've
is.
met
Talk
her.
more about that. What have you learned from her?
Oh my gosh, I love that girl. If she only knew it. But yeah, so basically the short story is I got my hands on, or I saw her in a film that arrived at my house when I was really down and out, like any probably woman would be naturally after a diagnosis. I thought that I was going to die, and I was in a very challenging state of mind. And then I came across this film that she was in. I did see her film later called Crazy Sexy Cancer and read her book as well. And I basically followed her protocol. I got a pair of cowgirl boots, I put them on, I juiced every day, I changed my attitude, and I was like, I'm bigger than this, and I'm gonna make it through this. I mean, she's still alive, and she has a, her cancer is incurable, basically, till this day, you know, and as far as we know, me, like, I'm all good, and I'm taken care of now, and so she was really sort of my, and still is my hero. I would love to spend some more time with her. She's really great.
So more and more women are being affected by breast cancer. It's scary because there's nothing definite, there's not a universal agreement about what's causing this, and the statistics are pretty alarming, some would say. Yes. What message would you have for women who have been affected by breast cancer, and for the broader public who maybe just doesn't have an understanding?
Gosh, I would probably say, that's a hard question because I'm tempted to say, do what I did, but I know that having a life-threatening illness and a diagnosis and the steps along the way are such a personal choice, I really feel. For me, it was sort of taking life into my own hands, changing my attitude, changing my diet, which actually ironically changed into this whole passion for me. I've always been a huge animal person. I grew up on a farm, I grew up riding horses, and for me now I'm sort of an animal rights activist because of the veganism and because of the juicing and all these things that I was doing to fight cancer. Personally for me, adopting a vegan diet is not only healthful, but I know that I'm helping the planet every single day. You know, I can feel good that when I wake up every day, I'm not hurting another being, and I'm not attributing to fossil fuel problems and, you know, greenhouse gases and blah, 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 all that stuff, because I feel like in a small way I am making a difference, and so I just hope that for others as well.
If you had to leave everybody with a final message, what would that be?
Be grateful for being here every day, do what you love, laugh a lot, and yeah, enjoy life to the fullest.